Hello and welcome to my personal reflection. I am going to reflect on two different cultural encounters that I experienced during Unigo to Malaysia. Planting the mangroves in Merbok was one of my favourite days of Unigo. It was exciting working alongside my peers, and helping to plant the mangroves was certainly an experience that I will never forget. Upon arrival to the area, I was initially intrigued by the amount of plastic waste. However, I was soon captivated by the stunning scenery instead. It was a beautiful day. Some of us were still getting to know each other, and what better way to do this than by traipsing through sludgy mud and learning how to plant mangroves in Malaysia. The area had several buildings and walkways over some mangroves where, for many of us, we saw our first glimpse into what the mangroves looked like and what we would be expected to walk through shortly. The host provided us with lots of information regarding the mangroves, including what they do for the local area, providing habitat for numerous species of fish, crustaceans, mollusks and birds. Mangroves help protect coastlines from erosion and storm surges by acting as natural buffers. They help filter pollutants from runoff, improve water quality and sequester carbon, thereby mitigating climate change. This was the mangrove nursery, where mangrove seed pods are germinated before being transplanted in the areas where they are needed. Mangroves in Merbok contribute to the local economy through fisheries and ecotourism. Despite their ecological and economic importance, the ecosystems face threats from human activities such as coastal development, aquaculture, logging and pollution. Efforts to conserve mangroves could include protected area designation, restoration projects and community-based conservation initiatives aimed at raising awareness and promoting sustainable resource management practices. Educational programs and guided tours help to raise awareness about the importance of mangroves and promote their conservation among local communities and visitors. Mangrove ecotourism initiatives such as guided boat tours and bird watching activities could provide alternative sources of income to local residents. Fishing communities often rely on mangrove habitats for their livelihoods, as the area is naturally rich in fish and other seafood. Similarly, the mangroves in the Daintree rainforest in Queensland support a wealth of biodiversity as well. Both mangrove ecosystems support rich biodiversity of plant and animal species. They both provide essential ecosystem services such as erosion control, and they both face similar threats. In both locations, engaging local communities in conservation and management efforts is crucial for long-term sustainability. A community-based approach could empower communities to take ownership of mangrove resources and implement sustainable practices that align with their socio-cultural values and livelihood needs. Opportunities for research collaboration and knowledge exchange between scientists and community members could enhance understanding of mangrove ecology, resilience and management strategies. Sharing scientific findings, monitoring data and lessons learned could inform evidence-based decision-making and adaptive management approaches in both ecosystems. It was incredibly difficult walking through the mud to get to the area where we planted the 450 mangrove seedlings. The mud was warm and sticky, and the more that you struggled against it, the more it sucked you down. Everybody pitched in and helped to plant the seedlings. We were shown that you plant the seedlings with your foot rather than your hand. I couldn't quite master this technique though. I strongly believe that we all worked incredibly well together. We helped each other where it was needed, and I think that we all had a lot of fun with this activity. Personally, for myself, it was a once-in-a-lifetime experience, and it is not something that the average tourist would get to experience, so it made it all the more memorable. My family and I are going to the Daintree rainforest in July, so I'm very keen to visit the mangroves there and see if there are any similarities between the two sites. The cross-cultural learnings that I received from this activity are: I recognised and appreciated unique challenges faced by the people living and working in the mangroves. My global perspective adapted as I began to understand the interconnectedness of the world. I challenged my comfort zone and embraced the opportunity to learn and experience the joy of planting the mangroves. I will never forget helping Sui Hoon out of the mud, only to have her complain that my hands were dirty. I really enjoyed getting to know my fellow unigoers and the academic staff better, and I felt really proud that we got to contribute to this scheme. Whilst on a rest day in Langkawi, I decided that I would volunteer at a local animal shelter called WOOFF. There are around 300 dogs and 40 cats at this shelter. During my time in Malaysia, I couldn't help noticing the amount of stray dogs and cats that there were everywhere, and how the majority of these animals looked like they were starving or ill of health. In certain cultures within Malaysia, there are superstitions and beliefs surrounding animals, including dogs and cats. For example, some Malaysians believe that black cats bring bad luck. These beliefs can bring a reluctance to control the population of stray animals or to even abandon them, assuming that these animals can fend for themselves. In some communities, there may be a lack of awareness about the importance of spaying and neutering pets to control the population of stray animals. I have been an animal lover since I was a little girl, and we have grown up with pets in our household for as long as I can recall, so it was heartbreaking for me to see these animals in need. Weak enforcement of animal welfare laws and regulations in Malaysia can contribute to the proliferation of stray animals, and without effective measures in place, these issues are likely to continue to grow. Within Australia, we face similar issues when it comes to stray dogs and cats. State and federal governments do have preventative measures in place, but more needs to be done to ensure that these measures occur. Some possible solutions in Malaysia could be to implement subsidised or free spaying and neutering programs, or launching public education campaigns to promote responsible pet ownership. Community-based initiatives could include engaging local communities in stray animal management efforts through community outreach programs and volunteer opportunities. Stricter animal welfare laws and regulations to address issues such as pet abandonment, overbreeding and cruelty to animals needs to be enforced. Collaboration should be fostered between government agencies, animal welfare organisations, veterinary professionals and community stakeholders to develop and implement comprehensive animal management strategies.
At least they remember. At least they remember and have to get it done to do it.
WOOFF is an animal shelter that is dedicated to rehabilitate injured or traumatised strays and give them a second chance, either as a permanent resident at WOOFF or to be adopted into a new and loving home. WOOFF receives no government funding and is largely reliant on international volunteers and financial donations. WOOFF operates on a free-range concept, giving the dogs the freedom to exercise, interact with each other and learn essential social skills. Some of the animals have been hit by cars, inhumanely injured by humans, or have suffered traumatising events. This means that often they need specialised care like hydrotherapy for nerve damage, wound management, or trauma recovery. Cassiel. Cassiel was at WOOFF when I went to volunteer, and we bonded pretty much straight away. He is a breed of dog which is native to Malaysia called the Telumian. When Cassiel was 4 months old, somebody poured boiling oil all down his back, cut off his ear and took one of his eyes. He was more than fortunate to survive this ordeal and be provided a loving home at WOOFF to heal from both the injuries and also the traumatic event itself. He was such a lovely dog, and even though I was only at the sanctuary for a short period of time, we built a strong bond and he would hardly leave my side. So much so that I have decided to sponsor him and he will live out the rest of his days with his pack at WOOFF. The money that I send each month will cover his vet bills, vaccination, food and any other incidentals. I strongly believe that more needs to be done in Malaysia for animal rights, and collaboration between stakeholders is a great starting point. I am so glad that I took time to volunteer at WOOFF, as I feel like I have contributed something back to the animals of Malaysia and they need it the most. I would love to take my daughter Isabella to visit Cassiel in the future and get her to see how happy and fortunate these animals are to be living at WOOFF Animal Sanctuary in Langkawi. I would like to take this opportunity to thank the academic staff for their support to all of us that participated in UniGo. You treated us all with kindness, respect and went out of your way to ensure that we had the best experience possible. Thank you for making UniGo what it was, an amazing learning experience full of lifelong memories that I will cherish personally forever. Thank you.